big in the early 80s. And what fascinates me about you guys, most guys who come on fast, big pop stars, the word pop, they stay in a period of time. Yet you guys, 20 years later, on any given day, on any given channel on radio, you guys are still there across the board. What's been the staying power?
The band that refused to go away and lie down. That and the fact that we love music, I think, that we get an immense kick out of all aspects of the job, the writing the songs, the time in the recording studio, and then going out and playing it live. Those are the three main parts of our job, and we absolutely love that. All five of us love that more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those gigs that you don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, you know, when you're 17, 18, and you want to be in a band, it's not like going to college and, you know,
4 years you're
to
going
be a doctor or an architect, and
yeah.
you're thinking, well, you know, when I'm 50, that's what I'm going to be doing. So there's no map. You have to just make it up as you go along. And you know, we've diversified. We've gone in different directions, but you know, we've come back to each other in the last couple of years and doing what we all figure we do best.
What made you guys decide the big astronaut tour and the album out now to say, okay, it's time to go out on the road again?
Well, we
besides the money, of course.
We first got back together in 2001. Funnily enough, money was never anything to do with it, really. We got back together. We went to France and we rented a house, which we funded ourselves, to see if we wanted to do this together. We had to get in a room and play and start writing songs again and see if we could find the chemistry. And fortunately, as soon as we played together, it was just there.
It was like never went away.
Yeah, it was all intact. And at that point, that's when we knew we were going to have an album. We wrote a lot of songs and really picked the best ones. And then once you've got the album, tour is the fun.
Now, we were off camera. You guys are kidding around. Obviously, you guys get along great. And you hear about bands breaking up, getting back together. You have 5 artists together. How do you juggle how do you guys, you know, juggle the egos? I'm not saying you guys have big egos or small egos, but just I'm thinking about myself. If I had 5 co-hosts here, and that's a lot to juggle. How do you keep from killing each other? How do you manage it?
I mean, we do have egos. I mean, it'd be silly to say that we didn't, and it wouldn't be true. And but the fact is, I think we started very young together. I mean, Nick was 17 when I met him, and we've always had a kind of a sense of fun and playfulness, and I think whenever one person's ego starts to kind of get it at all out of control, there's always 4 guys to kind of rib him and pull him down, and I think the other thing is that we've all got this goal, which is Duran Duran up there where it belongs, whether it's the live shows or getting it in the charts or on the radio, and we'll sacrifice anything for that, including our egos.
Yeah.
Our wives, children,
everything.
Yeah.
For the band. Now, there's an interesting time in music now, and I don't think ever in our culture it's I don't know if it's like this in England, where parents and kids are listening to the same music. I mean, I don't know if the kids are 6 years old or 16, and it's never happened. I remember growing up as a kid, you would never listen to the same, the Perry Como music. And what hit me, I was at a Stones concert last summer, and you looked in the audience, and besides the fact that you had a bunch of 50-year-olds and khakis going, yeah, you had their kids there also. And that's certainly true with your music. When you guys look out, do you love seeing 2 generations out there?
Yeah, it's been amazing, actually, because we've got a lot of really young kids coming to the show again who probably weren't even born when we put out the first records. And we realized that it's when we put out the first song from the album, Reach Up for the Sunrise, and people were just hearing it. They don't have any other reference to it necessarily. I mean, obviously their parents or their brothers and sisters had played things, but we were doing some signings, signing the album, and kids were coming from school, loads of them. And
we actively encourage our fans to bring their teenage daughters in particular. In fact, we do a 2-for-1 ticket special on this.
We played a radio show in San Francisco, and we got in the bus, and we were being chased. And we kind of all went up to look at the speedometer on the car, see how fast are these guys running,
You made a joke about girls, and I always kid around. I had Dave Navarro on, we always talk about, rock stars and women. And how do you keep it? Because obviously when you're young, it's like, oh my God, all these women want us or whatnot. how do you keep your head straight when you know, just as rock stars in the uniforms you're in, and just you guys are literally, there's an expression, you know, rock stars. And how do you keep your head straight when you know that every girl in the audience is dreaming and fantasizing about you? And how do you like not
It tends
lose
to
your mind?
spin round like the Exorcist.
You don't keep it straight, in other words.
We've all done it differently. I mean, Simon, as Simon says, you know, there was 5 of us, and that's always been good for each of us individually. We all kind of went a little bit out there.
Yeah.
You know, we've been...
It's hard not to.
We've been further out there than we are today. You know, we're all pretty much down to earth, back down to earth. But you do what you can. What can I tell you?
it.
You know, you can't do it all.
Now, any of you guys currently married?
I'm married.
Yeah, so
How do you keep a marriage together when you're on the road, when you've got all this other stuff we're talking about?
Well, I married somebody who
was really desperate.
It was a roadie, you're right.
Thanks for that, John. That's really appreciative. I married someone. I married a fashion model, and she was working.
That's not a cliche. A rock star and a fashion model.
I know.
Damn.
I know. But she always was travelling off and working, and I was always travelling off and working, and our whole relationship's been like that. I mean, we're kind of used to being apart from each other. I think you stay married because you want to.
Yeah.
That's the only reason to do it.
What do you guys like today in the pop scene? It's come on the last few years.
I think there's a lot of really cool acts out there now, actually. The Killers, we like, from Las Vegas. The Scissor Sisters.
Yeah, great.
A lot of the hip-hop stuff out there. There's some really incredible tracks. Kasabian.
Franz Ferdinand. A lot of bands out of Britain at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of new bands coming
How
out.
about more of the ones that have made the gazillion dollars, the Justin Timberlakes of the world, are a bit more...
Oh,
Justin
Justin
made a
Timberlake.
great record.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
that
did.
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
That somebody
Yeah.
breaks away from a band as big as that and goes bigger.
Right.
You know, I mean, Gwen's almost doing it now. You know, her album's good too. But Justin did a good job with that record.
Well, guys, great seeing you guys. Great tour, astronaut tour. I'm hearing great things about it. Continued success.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys. We got more Big Idea. Duran Duran's new album is called Astronaut. The North American tour is going on now. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. We got more Big Idea coming. Stick around.